So, I want to talk about the way men shop. So, one of the things that I would do in high school, this, time to be honest, I'll go to the store that has the hottest girl working there. Okay. It's only me, but I don't think so. And what will happen is you'll ask her for recommendations and she will dress you bad. If she thinks you're a nerd, she'll recommend nerd clothes. What they will never
Hmm.
do is,
Yeah,
even if you say, make me cooler, they won't. It's actually really hard to get a shop assistant to help you be more attractive. Really big experience where you actually have to go in and be very proactive yourself. And the shopping experience for a man to become more attractive is hard because no one will help you. It's very hard to get
actually.
someone.
So I think what women do in that role, they kind of like they actually help you dress as a nice guy, like their brother or somebody like that. They
Or you.
really don't want to make you feel super attractive. There's a reason. They really don't, unconsciously.
So when you're struggling with that, my question then is that whenever I go like to the department store, it's like it's designed to make men not want to be there because I hate um
Yeah.
like sneak attacks. Like you go in there and they spray the cologne at you without permission or the perfume. That's their strategy for it. And maybe that works on women like cold calling, but I hate that so much and that I'm afraid to go to that department. And then also I can only smell because I've been to the department store before. I'm trying to try a different cologne. I can only smell a certain number before my nose stops working. If you know what I mean, like they all start to smell like the same thing after about 10 minutes for me. So maybe I smell four things or five things. I could never smell like 20. Like no way.
Right.
Maybe 10. Like maybe I could get to 10, but probably not. And so I find it very hard because also they do the same thing where they go, and I feel like they almost say like, the first question is kind of like, do you want to smell like your dad? And because they'll say
No
things that
way.
are,
No way.
I will listen. I'll tell you this. I do smell like my dad because my dad, growing up, he was here. I know his scents, right? There was I don't know all of them, but one of them was Drakkar Noir, and the other one was Old Spice, and there was another one that was something water. I can't remember what that one was called. And I wear Old Spice now as my deodorant,
Cool
so
water.
it's my
Cool water.
that's it. Yeah. So very like which every guy was wearing, and but they you go in there and then that's the first one they show you, right? They're like, oh, Drakkar Noir. And it's like, well, nobody wants to smell like their dad. And then it's always sandalwood, or they say things like, do you want to smell citrusy or woodsy? And it's like, I don't know. It's very hard to understand. It's kind of like I know when I like what a woman smells like, but I couldn't really describe it very well. Like it takes a very sophisticated nose, which I do not have. Like a super sniffer, I don't have that. So I think actually, if you ask for advice, I'm afraid they'll be like, "Hey, what should I do?" And you ask for recommendation, they're like, "Oh, this is what your grandfather wore. Perfect, right?" I feel like just like with clothing, I do not trust their recommendation, and the problem is that like once you buy a cologne, you have to use it until it's all gone. That's this other feeling we have. It's like, well, I can't switch. I still got some left. Even if I hate it, I got to keep spraying it till it lasts forever. So I find it really tough. And in my life, I've gone through a couple of smells. I know exactly what they are. Tommy Hilfiger, the one that looked like a canteen. That one was my smell in high school. Then it was Blue Jeans by Versace. And I would never, by the way, I would never try a different one. I don't know what red jeans or green jeans or yellow. I didn't even know those existed for years until someone's like, "Oh, have you tried the other color jeans?" I'm like, "No, of course not. I haven't finished the blue jeans." And then the third one was called Michael, and all three of them my uncle bought for me, who was a very, very, very sophisticated hairstylist who owned three
Those are good
salons.
choices. They're good choices.
Yeah, I would have never guessed those. So I would say that I was very lucky because he had a deep understanding. He would talk about things like when you buy your glasses, the first thing you have to look at is the shape of your face and what glasses make you look better and worse. He was always talk bad about optometrists because optometrists never help you look more attractive. So he had these deep understandings about what haircut will make you look better, make you look worse. So I was very lucky that he knew about scents, but otherwise, he's gone now. So I really struggle with that stuff. And also for me, here's the other one. After a while, you can't smell it, so you don't know it's there. And that's why some guys, I think, go to town. Like in some things they train you, oh, you spray the back of each wrist, then the back of each ear, then you spray it in the air and walk through it, and then you just spray like two down their shorts, which by the way always burns. So I have a lot of like there's just so much misinformation and bad education and why do department stores make it such a bad experience? Why do they make it like a nightmare experience to buy a cologne? I know it's a
The
long
trouble
question.
the trouble today is that the colognes that they sell in department stores tend to be colognes that are loaded with things that smell really clean. And that's the aquatic clean scents today. If you look at what Dior is selling and what all the Tom Ford is kind of an exception, but a lot of the colognes are generally like super clean, and that's what people like. That's what they like. So if women will pick that out for their boyfriends or their husbands, men will go in and then a woman will say, "Oh, you should try this," and they'll end up with something that's sort of aquatic and super clean. And here's a something that you may not know, but a good scent changes over time, so that the first few minutes it smells like one thing, and an hour later it smells like something else. So if you're there and you smell something for like a few minutes, you really don't know what it's going to smell like in an hour or 2 hours or 5 hours, because all you're getting are what they call the top notes, the very first things that you smell when you try a new cologne. You don't know how it's going to develop and how it'll smell later. So all that makes it a very poor way of finding a cologne that you like. But I would say this too: the key is really a cologne that gives you confidence as a man, and that a woman will find attractive on you. Most men that we're talking to want to attract women with a cologne. And if you're wearing a cologne from a department store, they smell really good, but they're not going to be scents that women are going to necessarily find attractive on a man. So that's why I don't really like buying colognes that way. So what we did is we have a company that actually went ahead and they put together a very complex, amazing cologne using what have been shown for thousands of years to be what women are really drawn to when a man wears them. These are what they call animalic accords. So a man gets a shower, he's clean, now he puts on this attraction cologne. Now he's got a little bit of civet, deer musk, castoreum, ambergris, all the other wonderful parts of this scent. And it's a scent that women just can't get enough of on a guy, and it makes you wearing it feel a lot more confident. So yeah.
What does it smell like to a guy though? Like when a guy first smells it, what am I gonna think when I smell it? Am I gonna think sandalwood? Am I gonna think whatever that like patchouli? What is the thing I'm gonna smell or notice as a guy? Because that's where I really struggle. Can you describe that to me? Is it
I would say a little woodsy,
okay,
a little bit spicy, a little woodsy combination.
okay, woodsy spicy is good. And citrusy is bad. Does citrusy really mean clean? Is that what that means?
No, the citrus is okay, but if you they found out doing these experiments that citrus makes somebody feel like cheerful, but it doesn't make someone feel attractive. It's a nice scent for being cheerful and outgoing, but it's not a scent of attraction at all. The scents of attraction are different. So what we did with this attraction cologne is they put these animalic accords and everything in it. I would say it's a bit more like what might have been worn in the 70s or 80s, not as strong. But today's colognes in the department stores, what you can get, they don't have any animalic accords in them. They have a lot of synthetic musks, and they smell really good, but they just smell clean. They're not attractive if a man's wearing them. That's the problem, really.
I think that's really important because we often you say like, why are you wearing what you're wearing? I don't know. It's what I wear. Why are you wearing the smell you're wearing? And it is that it's so awful to shop for a cologne that once
It
we
is.
buy one, like, I just don't have to go back until it's gone because it's a bad experience. And then
Yeah.
usually you go, well, which one do you like the smell of? And so you buy for what you like without thinking of what the woman will like, right? And it's why men and then there's like this
Yeah,
thing like body
and
spray
you don't know if you like it because you don't know how it's going to develop, because nobody sits there with a little blotter card and goes an hour later and comes back and says, I don't really like how it developed after an hour.
because they spray you with so many things and stuff smells different on skin versus on clothes versus on a piece of paper, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A really good scent, especially one with animalic accords, would combine with your natural oils in your skin. It would give you a unique scent that women find very, very attractive. What's not attractive, honestly, is no smell at all. Women aren't going to find that attractive. Women have all these, like almost twice as many cells in their smell centers in their brain. Their brain has many, many more brain cells dedicated to scent, picking up scent, than men's do. So women, if they sense no scent at all, they're going to lose romantic interest. They have to scent. They have to pick up a scent. It's very important to women's arousal to pick up a scent. And the scent that they want to pick up is something that has been modified by your scent. It's not terribly strong, but it's modified so that with these aromatic accords and your scent, it's a unique thing that everybody's a bit different. And women just love that on a man. So that's not necessarily what you're never going to find that in an department store. Even if you spend $1,000 on some of these colognes that are very, very expensive now, they don't have these accords in them. They don't have them. So we actually had to.
That's a real thing.
Some colognes cost $1,000. Oh, absolutely. I don't want to name the names, but people who are really into colognes will know what I'm talking about. Absolutely. And they don't have these aromatic accords.
Because it's like watches, right? I learned the same lesson that like the more expensive your watch is, the less interested women are in you. like an inverse correlation. So it's very interesting to think of like, I want to wear something that women find attractive. And I wish I'd learned this lesson when I was younger to like understand that, because so often like I'm either just trying not to smell bad, which is a real struggle, right? It's a real struggle for guys to even get to neutral. And then to think, okay, because there's this other world, which I want to bring up, which is like the world of body spray, whether it's Axe in America, Lynx in England. And it's like, what they show you to do is you spray from your hand.
A lot.
Down, it's still on. Imagine just going shh, all the way to your downstairs. So, because it's like, it's the reason it's cheaper, so you can spray more of it so the smell lasts longer. And what it is I can tell, one thing I can tell is like, if I'm smelling a woman's scent and I smell sugar, that's bad.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want a person who smells like candy, because in my head,
you don't want a woman shouldn't smell like cotton candy. Really.
It's such unhealthy smell. It's like the smell of cavities. It's the smell of like going to the dentist. It's all bad. It's like, you also don't want to smell like that antiseptic smell of a hospital, right? So
the smells of the cotton candy smell is especially common because as a perfume came out that was like, just shook the world of perfume, called Angel, and women just were going crazy, and it created a whole new area of perfumes they're called gourmands. So you know what a gourmand is someone that likes to eat or likes food or understands food. When it comes to a cologne or perfume, it means something that's like edible. And even for men now, there's a lot of these colognes that are like edible. They have vanilla in them, for example, and sweet or cherry.
Chocolate.
For men, chocolate is common, coffee, and I don't think they're attractive. I mean, I know that they're just not attractive, really.
Here's what I like, and this is interesting. I like strawberry as a smell. Like, I like the smell of strawberries, but
you don't want a woman to smell like strawberry.
That's the one I like.
Oh, you like a woman to smell like strawberry?
Yeah. Most perfumes, I'll be honest with you, I hate. A lot of women. Sometimes this happens. I'll be with my wife and a woman gets on the elevator and it's so strong I have to hold my breath. If a woman's wearing enough perfume, I'll have an allergic reaction. And it takes a lot. You imagine Pigpen, like that's the visual. It's like that much, like where there's a cloud around her where she walks through, everyone within 3 or 4 feet can smell it. Because
oversprayed it.
I assumed that she used an entire bottle each time. She's like, these are single use, right? And there is this. The women do the same thing men do. It's like, oh, it has to be really, it's what you want is a hint. Like, oh, that, to me, and again, most of the scents I don't like. I really hate a sugar smell or where there's alcohol in it. Those things are bad, or like a sweet, it feels sticky to me. But the one I do like, that's why I'm asking you, is like, coffee. Oh my gosh, that sounds so terrible. Vanilla sounds terrible. But strawberry is like the one that I can recognize that I like. And maybe it's not even strawberry, it's like a flowery smell. But most
I don't think it's strawberry.
If I notice it, for me to notice it, it has to be like too much. Where I go, very rare, every once in a while I notice it and I go, oh, that's nice. And it's usually a strawberry one. But most of the time I notice it and it's overpowering. It's like the difference between strawberry and strawberry flavored. It's like there's a huge difference, right?
Women, like I find a woman attractive based on how she looks. I don't really care about her. I mean, if she smells bad, that's not good. That's a real off-putting thing. But let's say she smells fine, she's showered and groomed, and she has a perfume on. That's nice. It's fine. I can enjoy a perfume if it's nice, but I don't care that much about it. But women look at men, they view attraction of men completely differently. It's unconscious. But they actually, a man's scent is super, super important to attraction for a woman. Super important. For men, it's not as important. Again, if she's clean enough and she looks sexy, what do we care what perfume she's wearing, right? But for women, it's a different story. They care a lot about how a man is scent, a lot. It's completely underestimated.
I think a perfume is more likely to be a down check than an up check.
Yeah.
Is what I mean.
Yeah,
It's
for a
more
woman,
likely
on
to
a
be
woman.
too much. Yeah, because most women are taught, because it's changed. I think back in the day when they weren't as strong, like you do both wrists and you do behind the two ears or something like that. Whereas
Oh, they were very strong. They were much stronger in the old days. But people just went around. I don't think they got bathed as much as they do now, and they just went around in a lot of perfume. I mean, they didn't, you know.
Yeah, so that's the thing is like, it's but I haven't. If I notice a woman's perfume, 9 times out of 10 I don't like it. I will say it's overpowering or my eyes are wide.
If you were looking for a woman for a romantic or other liaison, and she happens to wear perfume you don't like, and she looks good, you're not going to care that much. I'm assuming, as long as it's not really bad.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I mean. Is very rarely does perfume add on. When it does, it's like
on a woman. On a woman, have to say that.
That's
on
what
a woman.
So it's very interesting that women are doing so much of something that men don't care about.
Well,
and men are doing so little of something women care about.
Yeah. The reason that I think it's happening is because the people that make the perfumes that are in department stores that everyone buys are women. They're the marketing managers, marketing directors, and they're making perfumes that are instantly buyable, that a man can smell. Oh, that smells really clean and really good. I'll buy that one.
I would say loud. I would almost say
loud. They're not that loud anymore.
You go in there and it's like,
I mean,
it's never like, oh, this is a subtle hint. It's always like, you feel like you're in camouflage, or you feel this smells like duck, or that's what I mean. Is it's like, whatever the first smell is loud, and that's what they want you to pay attention to. You're talking about the importance of what it smells like an hour later. They never talk about
it's like the first few minutes. So they're all made on the first few minutes to smell super clean. A lot of them just smell gourmandy, and they just smell really good. And maybe like,
it's very interesting because they make it very hard to shop. What do you think about? There's like all these brands now that will like send you a bunch of different scents in the mail, or you have to like mix them and match them yourself. I kind of feel like the odds of me coming up with something that doesn't smell gross if I do my own recipe is so low, right? Like I know nothing about smell, so I go, oh, put a little bit of lemon, put a little bit of this. Like you're just mixing things randomly. And the odds of getting something good, is there a chance that you get something good, or is it like, does everything come out smelling terrible when you kind of mess around with those things where it's like, invent your own scent online?
I just think the issue is today, the scents are made with these sort of dryer sheet musks and accords that are like smelling clean. So if you get a whole bunch of them to try out, you might like one more than another, but that doesn't really, they all have the similar musks in them.
Wait, what you said about dryer sheets is so powerful, and it almost slipped right by me, because now that you say that, it's like, you're right. 9 out of 10 things do smell like a dryer sheet. It's like
they smell clean. There's a perception of clean. That's why they put them in laundry detergents. Yeah,
it's not lemon. It's lemon scented. It's like Pledge.
It's not lemon. It's musk.
It smells like actual lemon. It smells like it smells like, tastes like grape drink, not a grape. It smells like lemon dryer sheet or lavender dryer sheet, which is not.
It doesn't matter if it's lemon or lavender. It doesn't even have to have the scent. It has that musk to it. It just smells clean to a person.
So that's what a lot of men smell like, because we wash our clothes come out clean. That's become the dryer sheet is. How many men do you think the dryer sheet is their dominant smell? Like that's where
especially if they're wearing any kind of cologne. I don't care who it's made from, even if it's a designer or expensive one. It's going to all have the same. They're all like that now. They're all made like way. They don't make any other kind other than the company that the sponsor we have that makes the real animalic accords. No one is doing this otherwise.
Why is that?
They're much more expensive. The animalic accords are very expensive, and people who are when they sell the colognes, they're selling it based on the first 2 minutes. Like you'll go to the counters. You said they'll give you a card to a blotter, and then you go, oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, try spray it on your wrist. Oh yeah, that's good. Okay, here it is. So they're not sold on the development of it. They're just sold on the first 5 minutes.
Do you think that people buy based on familiarity? Like, oh, it smells like something I know.
Yeah.
Because it's like if it smells strange, you go, "Oh no, I know what cotton candy is," or "I know what duck is." Maybe there's not a duck cologne. I don't know. I keep saying that. Or I know what the woods smell like, or I want to smell like a tree. It's always a thing, right? Like I want to smell like lemon, or this and that. So it's a lot of I want to smell like something I can identify. Do you think that is how a lot of people like are shopping? They're going, "Oh, I want to know what it smells like," as opposed, and it's like that's affecting a lot of the buying decision. That's why they all kind of smell the same because they all smell like something.
I think it's all about giving someone something that smells really, really good for the first 5 minutes. Really clean and also maybe sweet and wonderful smelling. That's what it's about for the first 5 minutes. Because
I
that's
can
how they're
never
sold.
smell. I can never smell my cologne an hour later,
Right.
and I don't know if that's because I'm used to it being there, right?
Yeah, it's
Or
because
it's gone.
you're used to it being there. It's not gone.
Okay.
It's you're used to it, and they call it anosmia, where your nose gets sensitized to the scent molecules, and it no longer responds to them. Now, it's more likely to happen with those clean smelling clones in department stores. It doesn't happen with these the new attraction clone with the animalic accords because there's a lot of natural compounds in there, and people don't become anosmic as quickly to naturals as they
And
do
how
to
much
synthetics.
when someone starts switching to a cologne that's actually doing the right stuff? So what I learned in high school was you spray it once in the air and you walk through it.
That's wasteful. I don't do that.
What?
I would
So
do that.
what's the right thing to do?
Well, I personally always wear a cologne on my shirt because that way it lasts longer, and I prefer not putting it on my skin. But if I did it, I would put it on my chest. I would put it, like on my neck. It's probably, and that's what I would do. I wouldn't.
So when
If you spray the air and walk through it, you're wasting like 90% of it.
I'm trying to be subtle because all the clones I wear are very loud and apparently smell bad anyways. But how many sprays at your shirt should you do? Hit the pump once, 2 times, 10 times? What are we talking
I
here?
tend to look about 6 to 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm doing like one and walking through it, and I'm going, I don't want to do too much. I need this.
Yeah, but you might find if you wait an hour, you like maybe that's why you're not smelling it too, because there's very little of the molecules on your skin to begin with.
Yeah, well, there's no education about it. It's like no one knows how to tie a bow tie. No one understands like what's the difference between like eau toilet, eau perfume. Like we don't understand the difference, and no one really teaches you anything. And the person, like every department store, everyone who works there you can tell they work in the makeup department because they're wearing too much makeup. Always, right?
Yeah.
You can tell they work in the perfume department because they smell like too many things and they're desensitized. How can
I
anyone
don't
who
like.
works in the
I really
department-
don't like those. I hardly ever go to those places.
And there's not really like the one place you can kind of go is like a shaving shop, right? And then if you want to smell like that place, at least you got, that's like to me a place where I'll buy stuff there because like at least have a sense of it's in a direction that I want to smell like a man.
Well, that
Because
is a nice thing. I mean, they have these they call barbershop scents, colognes that are sort of like historically sort of like from shaving cream, and they're very nice. They're very nice. They're not they're old style, they're very nice. They don't have anything. They don't have animalic accords in them. They're not like this attraction cologne, but they're very nice. They're not just smelling like a dryer sheet. So I like that.
So
I like those.
I like a 1950s smell. Like when I can find a 1950s barber that has like they're using these things that we don't use anymore, right? Like there's certain things like the blue, whatever they put the comb in that's blue, and they put the and they have
barbicide.
that, and they use a pomade.
Yeah,
That to me is like
they use
you
them.
know what it is? Maybe it's a smell that's not feminine at all. Whereas a lot of colognes to me could be perfume, like
It's
they
very
just change the
masculine.
shape.
It's very masculine. It's not sweet at all. Like the common one that barbers use has historically has been Clubman Pinot, Pinaud. It's inexpensive Clubman, and it's very well known. It's very masculine. It'll tend to have it'll have some citric, some lavender, some anise, maybe. It just very very masculine smelling.
Okay.
But it's nice, but they're very inexpensive, and so they don't have really good quality ingredients. That's one thing. I mean, in the world of making colognes, there's quality of ingredients as everything, because you can get something that's going to sell for $10, or you can get something that in a department store, believe it or not, you can spend $800 to $1,200 for a bottle of cologne.
And does it smell Is there that difference, a distinction in the smell, even though there's a distinction in the ingredients?
Not really. I mean, let's put it this way: if you pay $200 for a bottle or 1,200, it's pretty much the same quality of ingredients, but it's a lot better than if you spend $20.
Okay.
So,
That's
but they
interesting.
still don't. But a lot of it is just sort of what do you call it? Where consumers just pay a lot more without getting the quality difference for it.
Yeah,
There's not a dramatic difference between a $200 and a $1,200. I would say there's any difference in quality of ingredients really.
Okay.
But the what we have done, and our sponsor is, we make a cologne here in the United States with animalic accords, which are extremely attractive when a man wears them. Wears the cologne. Women can't get enough of a guy wearing this type of cologne, and none of the clones in any department store, designers, or niche, they don't have these animalic accords. So these are much more attractive, and because it's not sold through a store, the stores have a very high margin. You can imagine the expense of those counters, those women that are working those counters, the real estate, and all of the rest of it, the fancy packaging is very, very high markup. So our sponsor, they don't put all that money into the markup, so that they're selling a clone that could sell for $1,000 for like a fraction of it, and they'll even send you a bottle to try out, a full bottle, not a sample, but a full bottle, so you can enjoy it in your life to see how much you love it. And then you only help them out with shipping. You don't even have to pay for it. And then you just take care of the cost once you decide you really like it. So, and if you don't like it, they'll even pay the posters to send it back. So I like buying it that way because I just get to try it, have it for a while, and it's super masculine. And we've gone to places like Clearwater, Florida, the Washington, D.C., and all over, and asked and had women try this, and they're men wearing it, and women just can't get enough of it. They just love it. So it's those animalic accords, and you don't get those in any department store clothes. So I suggest that you go ahead and you click on the link and get your full-size trial bottle of this attraction cologne, so you could try it out. And what could be better? You just help them out with shipping, and you get a full bottle, and then you'll enjoy it in your life. And you can't get this in any stores.